and then Lilo Falls, then Port of Morrow, then Spokane, then Missoula, then we'll be at Lame Deer. When we get to Lame Deer, we'll do some ceremonies for blessing, but then we're transferring the totem pole to another group that is being coordinated through Otto Brady here, Northern Cheyenne, and Mike Scott. He's a local rancher that's going to be impacted by the Tongue River Railroad and the Otter Creek coal mine, open pit mine. They're going to take the totem pole on a 3-week journey, and they will continue to add media attention to the voices of the interfaith community, environmental groups, citizens groups, ranchers. You know, you got the Cowboy and Indian Alliance that's formed, and you got tribes that have actively stood up and said we're not going to let the coal go through. And it's not because we don't like the other tribes that have coal. It's because the coal has mercury and arsenic in it, and we don't want it in our water. You know, and the amount of coal that's being proposed by these companies to ship to China is massive, and the amount of pollution is massive. And over the years, it's going to become a super site all the way from there to here. And we don't want that. So we're here at a Catholic Church Cathedral, St. Neri Church, and we're going to have an event here tonight. We expect a good turnout, and we expect some good media coverage, both radio, some newsprint, and maybe a little bit of television. But no matter what, we're standing united with the Columbia River Indian Fish Commission and their member tribes, which are the Warm Springs, Umatilla, and Yakima Nations. And of course we have the support of the affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians, which are tribes in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Northern California, and Southeast Alaska. We also entered a sacred obligation agreement between the Lummi Nation, the Northern Cheyenne, the Tulalip Nation, the Swinomish Nation, Quinault Nation, Lower Alwas, and the Tsleil-Waututh Nation of British Columbia. And so we're going to continue to work with each other in order to defend the waters and Saley Sea, as well as our air and our land. The Tsleil-Waututh Nation is battling the Kinder Morgan pipeline that's going to end at Fraser River, and it's extremely toxic sludge that's going to come through those pipelines, and those pipelines always break, so it's inevitable. It's going to cause a large amount of environmental damage. Up on the north end of it is the Beaver Lake Cree, and we've worked with them. We brought a totem pole up to them last year, and the Beaver Lake Cree's territory has been devastated. It literally looks like the moon, except for worse. Highly toxic. Everything's dying from cancer. The birds, the fish, the four-legged animals, and the humans. And because of the amount of money being invested in it, it's all hush-hush. And the government's handing out permits right and left. Well, they can't get their oil out unless they go through either Kinder Morgan pipeline or Keystone pipeline, right down through the middle of Sioux territory. That's why we've been working with the Sioux. They are also opposed to any pipeline going through their territory.
And for folks who've been paying attention but may not know the latest from Lummi Nation, where does Cherry Point sit right now? Well,
Cherry Point has been on the target for a long time, the last 2.5 decades. But you know, back in 1979 and in 1980, the Lummi Nation protected Cherry Point when Chicago Bridge and Iron came in there and wanted to build offshore drilling rigs, and we successfully worked with the state of Washington and stopped it. It's a deep water access, and as long as the Lummi Nation does not own their old village, it's going to continue to be the speculation for some type of deep water access facilities. So our plan is to stop it, because not only is it our historic village there, but it's one of the largest ancestral cemeteries in the state. The corporation that's there now, SSA and PIT, they've gone in at different times and they bulldozed 4.4 miles through, and they dewatered the whole area, violated the Clean Water Act. RE Sources sued them as an environmental group, and they were going to win, so the company settled right away. They violated county laws, state laws, federal laws, and they've been extremely insulting and abusive towards the Lummi Nation. and we find this highly unacceptable. We have a treaty relationship with the United States. They will impact and destroy some of our fishing rights, and we expect the United States to stand up and honor our treaty because it is supreme law of the land under Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution.
And you've done several of these journeys now, and I'm wondering, as you've traveled around the region over these last several years, if you've noticed changes when it comes to people's awareness of these fossil fuel plants and just the environment in general.
Well, we believe that we're touching 20, 30 people with each one of the journeys. And I know this year when we began in Vancouver, we were aired all across the Canada through the Indigenous channel up there. We've been in national magazines, national news already. It's been released in Hawaii, New Zealand. So a lot of people are aware of our position in regards to the need to protect the waters and protect the environment. And we're calling for church groups, environmental groups, citizen groups to work with each other. Quit being so territorial. You got to be global in your thinking, and you got to remain global. And everybody's voice adds to your strength. So through unity, we can protect the world. I really believe that. And we're encouraged when the Catholic Church came out with a letter in May of this year where the Pope is calling for all Catholics to stand up united and start protecting the earth. And so we know a lot of the interfaith community has already taken those positions, but at least on paper, we're calling for action. Words are great, but action's better.
And what do you have? What would you say to people who are out there who are concerned about these things but may not know in their personal lives what to do about these challenges?
Well, part of it is that we got to learn to cut back on being consumers. We're very materialistic, and we have to accept the idea that we got to stop. Like for people that are having droughts, it's important to quit watering your lawn, right? And things like that. So find a way to do your part. Turn your lights off when you leave your room. That itself decreases the amount of dependence on the large dams.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.